Okay, so I thought for this video we'd have a bit of a discussion about if Fortnite is actually an esport. Now, in my personal opinion, Fortnite is not an esports worthy game. How the game works proves that, and Epic's decisions regarding competitive proves that. And we've got a lot to go over, so be prepared for a decently long video. So, um, first of all, let's go over how the game works and why that makes it non-esport. Fortnite is a battle royale, and I think battle royales can kind of be esports, but it's based entirely off RNG. Everything in that game is RNG. The only thing that isn't RNG is if a building will be there, because that building is there permanently. Loot in that building is completely RNG. It's completely RNG if a chest is going to spawn, if floor loot is going to spawn, and it's RNG what floor loot is going to spawn. So not only do you have the RNG of if floor loot is going to spawn at all, but you have the RNG of what is the floor loot actually going to be. And that goes the same for chests, and that goes the same for llamas. Yeah, so it's all RNG. Even shooting is RNG, which personally, in my opinion, it shouldn't be as RNG. I agree that Bloom should be a thing. Bloom is RNG. I agree that Bloom should be a thing. But in Fortnite, it should be greatly reduced, especially when you're crouching, because when you're crouching, you're more accurate. And then you should get rewarded with that accuracy by all your shots hitting when they're actually on the player. So, yes, I agree that Bloom should be a thing, because otherwise games would be like 2 minutes long with people just going around destroying other players. But it shouldn't be as dominant as it is right now. So, RNG in the game, not esports worthy. It's a battle royale, so like it's really depending on where you go. Like if you go to Tilted Towers, you're gonna get a lot of loot, but is that loot gonna be good? Who knows? In games like CS:GO, where you actually buy the guns, like you get kills, you get survival points. Like I think you get survival points. You get kills, you plant the bomb, you defuse the bomb, blah blah. That gives you points, or that gives you money, I should say. You use that money to buy guns and like grenades and etc. That is a good way of doing it, right? Jumping out of a battle bus, going down to a place and potentially getting good loot, potentially getting no loot, potentially getting good loot, potentially getting bad loot, or even getting no loot at all. That's a bad way to go. So it's completely RNG. So RNG games shouldn't even really be esports. But you know, if you're gonna push an esport, if you're gonna push a game to be an esport, I guess go ahead. Like there are good places on the map, such as Tilted, that have a lot of loot, and most of it is pretty good. There's a lot of chests there, so the chance that you're gonna get good loot is pretty high. But of course, there's gonna be a lot of people going there. Now, for Epic's decisions, and this is where it gets really controversial. For Epic's decisions, the decisions that they make just make the game not esports worthy. So altogether, I think they've had 3 or 4, maybe even 5 tournaments since the game started, since Battle Royale started, and those have been things like the Summer Skirmish, the Winter Royale, the Secret Skirmish, some like sort of smaller events like just for individual countries like the Australian Open, the Pro-Am and all that. They've had multiple Pro-Ams. They've got one just before the World Cup as well. All those, they've had a lot of tournaments, some big, some small. But of course they've got the World Cup now coming up. The biggest tournament that they've done so far, and the biggest tournament in esports history in prize money. And probably even in terms of not viewership, but probably in terms of attendees to the venue, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of people at that venue. And the prize pool, 30 million. 30 million. That's, I mean, it goes without saying that that's life-changing money. And this is the game that we're playing it on. And Epic Games are the people that are hosting this tournament for $30 million, which I believe is something like, it's probably like $25 million, or £25 million, I mean. Regardless, it's a large amount of money. Of course, after tax, it's going to be like 10 quid, but you know what. So, let's start off with when the Fortnite World Cup qualifiers was on, the volcano event was due to run, I think, halfway through, and they would pause the World Cup qualifiers for the event. But because of the event, as we know, because the event's already happened, Tilted, Retail, and Polar all got they all got changed in a way. Um, Obviously, Tilted and Retail got completely destroyed, and then Polar got hit quite badly. Um, so a few days prior, the World Cup qualifiers were going on, and those POIs would not work. Like the textures were not loading at all. So they were literally unplayable. 3 major POIs literally unplayable. And Epic tweeted out, "We're currently aware of an issue where tilted towers and retail row are stuck in a low texture state across all platforms. We understand the potential impact to this week's tournament and are actively working on solutions. We'll keep you updated on any updates." But the World Cup qualifiers still went on, and then they said we're seeing reports of textures still not properly loading in retail row and tilted towers. This occurs predominantly in in-game and playgrounds across all platforms. We're working on a fix for this issue, and we'll update you when we have more information. World Cup qualifiers were still going on. They didn't put a delay on the World Cup qualifiers to fix this game-breaking issue where 3 major POIs were not working. They didn't do anything. They let people just do their World Cup qualifiers while 3 POIs were unplayable. What? I don't need to explain why that's a bad decision. Now, we also have in the World Cup. Actually, now we're going to another cup, and then we'll talk about the World Cup in a sec. The other issue. So another problem with other tournaments is yesterday or today, I guess it's still going on when I'm recording this. There's this trio cup thing, and there was a problem with the mode where it just wasn't working. I don't know exactly what was up, but there was a problem with the mode. So they did what any other game company would have done, and they started to work on fixing it. And they tweeted out that there's an issue with the mode and they're working on a fix. And they then tweeted out, while addressing the material drop issue in the Trios Cash Cup, we ran into a different issue. We've decided to run the Trios Cash Cup with a default harvesting rate and without material drop for the rest of the weekend. So the mode is broken, but we're still gonna have you play the tournament. It's pretty much what they said. And that, I mean, I quoted the tweet and I said this is pretty much just admitting that your game is not an esport. If you are still going ahead with a tournament when the mode is broken, that's not an esport game. How do you expect people to compete properly if the mode isn't working properly? The game isn't working properly, and you expect people to be able to compete properly. That's dumb. But prior to that, they actually delayed it by 1 hour because of that issue with the material drop issue. Issue with the material, okay. And I was saying, well, why did you delay this because of an issue with material drop, but you didn't delay the World Cup when 3 POIs were literally unplayable? The Trios Cash Cup is still important, but it's nowhere near as big as the World Cup, and you're putting a delay on that, but you didn't put one on the World Cup. That's kind of stupid. But yeah, I mean, that's that. The Trios World Cup, or the Trios tournament, I believe has now finished. It should have finished by the time this video goes up. So, the last thing that I have to talk about regarding Fortnite not being an esport is an official competitive ruling. To put a long story short, multiple people were cheating in the World Cup. It was basically 2 players in the Duo World Cup, Ziff and Ronaldo, who were pretty much getting free kills. They had their friends come in and like land with them so that Ziff and Ronaldo could get free kills, which is against the rules. So they got reported, and here's the judgment that Epic made. Based on an internal investigation, we have concluded that a group of players attempted to undermine the Week 3 Fortnite World Cup online open qualifiers, or competition, on April 28th by colluding across several matches. Basically, they were teaming unfairly and they were getting free kills unfairly. All players involved will receive a 14-day competitive ban and will be ineligible for any Week 3 prizes. This group also included a player whose score would have qualified them for the Fortnite World Cup finals in New York. Consequently, in addition to the competitive ban and loss of prizing, this player will also forfeit their Fortnite World Cup finals qualification spot. As a result, the qualification spot will be granted to the next highest ranking player on the Week 3 finals leaderboard for the NAE region who has yet to qualify for solos. So they cheated in the biggest tournament on Fortnite so far and the biggest esports tournament in history for prize winnings. They cheated to get qualified to compete for that money. They cheated and they only got a 14-day ban. They got a 2-week ban, and then they came back and qualified, and they got called up for cheating again, and there was pretty solid evidence towards it. So, long story short, Epic decided this guy's these two people have cheated in a $30 million tournament, so we're just going to ban them for 2 weeks. You know, I mean, there was 10 weeks, so they had 2 weeks off, and then they just came back and did it all again. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out that that's a stupid decision to ban them for 2 fucking weeks from a $30 million mansion, from a $30 million tournament. I don't even know how to. I can't even explain. I have no words. $30 million tournament, and they got banned for 2 weeks for cheating in it. Most people would have got a permanent ban. They permanently banned someone for cheating in pubs, in public matches where score does not matter at all. They banned someone and filed a lawsuit against that person. They banned them permanently. But cheating a $30 million tournament, the biggest tournament in esports history and the biggest tournament in Fortnite history, you only get a 14-day ban, you know. Cheating pubs though, and you get permanently banned and will file a lawsuit. But forget the $30 million tournament. Just 30-day, 2-week ban, you know. Cheating pubs, you get a lawsuit. Cheating a $30 million tournament, you just get a 2-week ban. Fortnite's not an esport. Do not take it as an esport. They're trying to push esports as much as possible. They're adding dumb items every week, such as the airstrike, which does not belong in esports, does not belong in an RNG game, in a battle royale game. But you know what? They'll just keep pushing esports pretty much until the game dies, probably. They'll just keep pushing esports because they know that if esports was not if they didn't drive esports, then no one would play the game because there's nothing to play for. So, long story short, Fortnite is not an esport. There's dumb items that I did every single update. The game is entirely RNG. Epic makes dumb decisions. I guess dumb people make dumb decisions. Fortnite's not an esport. That's the end of this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.